What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney back at it again. Oh man, I gotta talk to y'all about A Million Little Things. One of these shows that I've been watching for like 4 or 5 years, and it seems like it's winding down. They announced this was the last season. The most recent episode was just so impactful, so emotional. We gotta talk about the development of Gary's character.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
Going back through another battle with cancer, something that we got introduced to him during his first battle where he met Maggie and got together. And it seemed like that after she beat her breast cancer again and Gary motivated her, like they were gonna just go off into the sunset. But the writers had different opinions. They were like, nah. It kind of threw us a curveball, man. Gary, we knew that he had the cancer coming back, but in this recent episode, it has progressed tremendously in his lungs, and it's gotten to the point where the docs are like, hey, there's not really much else we can do for you. We just want you to be comfortable in your last days. And they were going to go to Mexico City for that insulin treatment. And you could already tell, like, Gary was not feeling it. He was talking to Catherine about how he just didn't want to fight anymore. And he was kind of relieved of the doctor's diagnosis of, him just kind of moving forward and being comfortable. But I respect his decision to be able to want to hop on that flight with Maggie for her. So she doesn't feel like he made a really good point saying, he wants her to feel like she did everything possible within her power to save him before he moves on. And you can tell she is breaking down in multiple scenes. She is just breaking down, struggling to hold it together, man. It's tough to watch. It's very emotional for the viewer too, because Gary's a good guy, man. Like, we all want to see him progress. He's got little Javi to look after. He just lost his dad not too long ago. He means so much to Sophie and Daniel, who can't even face him. Daniel can't even face him in the beginning. But he eventually shows up for his guy and sees that, it's not just an instant death. He can take those last moments to enjoy Gary, because although he's sick, he's still Gary. He's still fun-loving and cracking jokes and just showing that personality and that lovable energy that attracts people around him. But it's definitely sad seeing him go through this battle. And then you got Catherine possibly starting another family. You wonder how that will affect Theo, her having another kid as well. It's just a lot. Roman, Regina looking to try to catapult her into city council, making some waves with that. Had a beautiful opportunity to go introduce the mayor and really get some publicity that she needed to get her name out there, because her heart's in a good spot and you can tell she really cares and relates to the people. And they end up missing it to be there for their friend Gary, and that's another emotional part that kind of ties all these people together, and you can really see that they care for one another deeply. It's just a lot of emotion, a lot of feelings that are going on with this episode, and it's obviously the last days for Gary, man, and it's sad, but it's also like a relief as well, because it seems like he's kind of come to terms what's going on. And you got Eddie too, who's showing up, and his family moving into the same building where they live at, the same condo, so they can be that support system there for Maggie as well, which also definitely gives him some sort of relief to just move on knowing that, hey, my family's going to be taken care of. But man, it's a gut punch. It's gut-wrenching. It's emotional. And it really impacted me, man. The writers, the producers really did a good job of just telling the story of a great group of friends, how they just have gone through multiple chapters, the ups and downs for each other. We've seen these characters continue to develop and triumph through tragedy, so we know they'll get through this. But man, just losing Gary is tough. It's tough seeing him go through that battle. And I'm just admire his attitude going through the whole process and thanking the doctor for getting him to this point to see his son's first birthday. I mean, anybody that's had a family member that's battled cancer or lost a family member to sickness, I think could really relate to this episode. It was really emotional, really impactful, but it still gives you some positivity at the end, a light at the end of the tunnel, where we can still be happy for this group as they move forward, in Gary's final days and without him, because we know for sure his spirit will live on through these guys. But it's just tough to watch him struggle, man. Seeing him without the beard and losing all that weight, man. Whew, that was tough, but man, I think that it did a really good light, and they're doing right by Gary as far as just showing the magnitude and the impact, because he's the glue that holds this group together, and I think they did a great job of just showing how everybody rallied around him and just continues to offer that unconditional love and support for the family. So man, shout out to those guys, and just what a wonderful show, what an emotional show, really tugs at the heartstrings. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. How will they move forward? What's the future look like for Maggie? Does she remarry? I don't know, man. Does she keep growing the show and pushing her brand? It'll be interesting to see. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. As for me, hey, that's a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, make sure you hit that subscribe button. This has been Live with Brandon Blakeney. I'm your boy, Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. You did?